Good evening, good evening. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Pro Wrestling Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. My name is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, two things for tonight's video. First off, I am going to go over the complete final standings for the block matches for the G1 Climax 33 of New Japan Pro Wrestling as we get ready to start going through the winner's block tomorrow. So I'm going to go over the final standings for all four blocks and go over the competitors that have qualified for the winner's block and go through the bracket. They have the bracket locked in, ready to go for tomorrow. So going to go over that. And then I want to finish off this video giving my thoughts on the recent press conference from Kairi, who is scheduled to go on an indefinite hiatus at the end of September. So wanted to give my thoughts on that. It's quite an interesting situation. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 33. All of the block matches have been completed for the A, B, C, and D blocks. So let's go over the final standings as they get ready to go through the winner's block. So let's get to it. Alrighty. As usual, we will start with the A block. Alrighty, A block. So, finishing at the bottom, dead last, with 4 points, Chase Owens. So he finishes with a final record of 2-5. 2-5. Victories over Hikuleo and Gabe Kidd, but losses to Sanada, Ren Narita, Shota Umino, Yota Tsuji, and Kaito Kiyomiya. So, got off to a decent start, but then just pretty much fell apart. Okay. Then, finishing with 5 points is Gabe Kidd of the Bullet Club War Dogs. Alright, he finishes with a final record of 2-4-1. So he had 2 victories over Hikuleo and Ren Narita, 4 losses to Sanada, Chase Owens, Shota Umino, Yota Tsuji, and he had the 1 draw with Kaito Kiyomiya. Okay, we had a 3-way tie for 6 points apiece, which were Ren Narita, Shota Umino, and Kaito Kiyomiya. So let's look at Kaito Kiyomiya, of course from Pro Wrestling Noah that competed in this tournament. He finished with a final score of 6 points and a final record of 2-3-2. Not really what I was expecting, but he got victories over Chase Owens and Yota Tsuji, but losses to Sanada, Hikuleo, and Ren Narita, and then 2 draws with Shota Umino and Gabe Kidd. So overall, I'm a little disappointed. I really thought he would have had more wins than 2. So, yeah, I was kind of bummed about that, to be honest with you. All right, Shota Umino. He also finishes with a final record of 2-3-2. He got the 2 victories over Chase Owens and Gabe Kidd. He got the 3 losses to Sanada, Hikuleo, and Yota Tsuji, and the 2 draws with Ren Narita and Kaito Kiyomiya. And then Ren Narita, 6 points, finished with a record of 2-3-2 as well. He had the victories were over Chase Owens and Kaito Kiyomiya, which was a pretty big win for him. 3 losses to Sanada, Hikuleo, and Gabe Kidd. And then the 2 draws with Shota Umino and Yota Tsuji. Yeah, Ren Narita had a pretty rough start, but like I said, got a big victory over Kaito Kiyomiya. That was actually really big. But, all right. We have one competitor that came really, really close, but just wasn't able to finish strong. Yota Tsuji finishes with 7 total points. He finishes with a record of 3-3-1. So he had victories over Chase Owens, Shota Umino, and Gabe Kidd. Losses to Sanada, Hikuleo, and Kaito Kiyomiya, but then the 1 draw with Ren Narita. So, came close, came really close, but just wasn't able to do enough to make one of the top 2 spots. Alrighty. And then finishing with the 2nd seed, or the second, yeah, pretty much I guess you could say the 2nd seed or whatnot, of the A block, or the runner-up of the A block that advances to the winner's block with a total of 8 points is Hikuleo. Hikuleo finishes with a record of 4-3. Had victories over Ren Narita, Shota Umino, Yota Tsuji, and Kaito Kiyomiya, but 3 losses to Sanada, Chase Owens, and Gabe Kidd. Kind of started off a little rough, but finished pretty strong. Finished very strong. And, sure enough, he advances to the winner's block as the runner-up. And then, sitting at the top, who pretty much dominated the A block and finished as pretty much the winner of the A block, the top seed, and advances to the winner's block. The undefeated Sanada, finishing with 14 points, with a perfect 7-0 across the board. Defeated Chase Owens, Hikuleo, Ren Narita, Shota Umino, Yota Tsuji, Gabe Kidd, and Kaito Kiyomiya. So, one could say the IWGP Heavyweight Champion is going into the winner's block with the most momentum, being that he is the only one to make it out of the blocks undefeated. So, that's huge. That's very, very huge. But we'll see what happens. But for the A block, your top 2 finishers, runner-up Hikuleo, and top guy Sanada. Both of them advanced to the winner's block. So congratulations to them. All right, let's go to the B block. Okay, for the B block, so we had one competitor finish at the bottom with 4 points, and that is Yoshihashi. Yoshihashi finished with a record of 2-5, with victories over Tangaloa and El Phantasmo, but losses to Okada, Taichi, Kenta, and Great Okan, and Will Ospreay. So, started off pretty decent, but then just really, really struggled the rest of this tournament. All right. We have 5 competitors that finished this tournament with 6 points each. And they are Taichi, Kenta, Great-O-Khan, Tangaloa, and El Phantasmo. Let's look at El Phantasmo. ELP. Finishes with a record of 3-4. Got victories over Taichi, Kenta, and Tangaloa, but losses to Okada, Yoshihashi, Great-O-Khan, Will Ospreay. He had a really, really rough start, but it was good to see him actually rack up a couple of victories before the end of this tournament. But, you know, I know that he was recently going through some stuff because I believe he had a death in the family. So, yeah. But at least he was able to pick up a couple of wins. All right, Tangaloa. Tangaloa finished with a record of 3-4 as well. Victories over Kenta, Great-O-Khan, Will Ospreay. Some pretty big victories there. But losses to Okada, Yoshihashi, Taichi, and El Phantasmo. Had a pretty decent showing. A lot better showing than I thought he was going to have, to be honest with you. All right, Great-O-Khan. Great-O-Khan finished with 3-4 as well. Got victories over Yoshihashi, Taichi, and El Phantasmo, but losses to Okada, Kenta, Will Ospreay, and Tangaloa. He kind of had a rough start as well, but was able to eventually rack up some wins. Kenta, 3-4. Got victories over Yoshihashi, Taichi, and Great-O-Khan, but losses to Okada, Will Ospreay, Tangaloa, and ELP, El Phantasmo. And then Taichi also finished 3-4 with victories over Yoshihashi, Will Ospreay, and Tangaloa, but losses to Okada, Kenta, Great-O-Khan, and El Phantasmo. Was off to a really strong start, especially after opening with a victory over Will Ospreay. That was really big, but wasn't able to finish strong, unfortunately. Okay, and then we have our first qualifier, our runner-up out of the B block, going to the winner's block, is Will Ospreay, who finishes with 10 points total. So, he finishes with a record of 5-2. He's got victories over Okada, Yoshihashi, Kenta, Great-O-Khan, and El Phantasmo. And he's got the 2 losses to Taichi and Tangaloa. So, started off a little slow with the loss to Taichi, but bounced back, and Will Ospreay, the Billy Goat, did what he usually does, and he qualifies, making it to the winner's block. And then sitting at the top of the B block as the top guy, finishing with 12 points with a record of 6-1, is the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. So as I said, 6-1 with victories over Yoshihashi, Taichi, Kenta, Great-O-Khan, Tangaloa, and El Phantasmo. And he only had the one loss, the big one loss, to Will Ospreay. So, Okada being Okada, so can't really be surprised that he ended up winning the B block and being the top finisher. I mean, you know, it's Okada. He's won a lot of G1 Climaxes, so. But, so there are your top 2 that advance to the winner's block out of the B block. And that's Will Ospreay, runner-up, and then top guy, Kazuchika Okada. So congratulations to those 2. All right, C block time. So for the C block, so we had 3 competitors finish at the bottom with 4 points apiece, which were Tomohiro Ishii, Aaron Hanare, and Mikey Nichols. So Mikey Nichols finished with a record of 2-5, with victories over Evil and Aaron Hanare, but losses to Dave Finlay, Tomohiro Ishii, Tama Tonga, Shingo Takagi, and Eddie Kingston. Aaron Hanare, same thing, 4 points, record of 2-5. Victories over Tomohiro Ishii and Shingo Takagi. Those are actually 2 pretty big victories for him. But losses to Dave Finlay, Evil, Tama Tonga, Eddie Kingston, and Mikey Nichols. And then Tomohiro Ishii. Same record, 2-5. Victories over Eddie Kingston and Mikey Nichols, but losses to David Finlay, Evil, Tama Tonga, Shingo Takagi, and Aaron Hanare. Kind of feel bad for him because he struggled quite a lot in this tournament. Okay, and then we had one competitor that surprisingly finished with only 7 points, and that's Shingo Takagi. He finished with 7 points with a final record of 3-3-1. So he got victories over David Finlay, Tomohiro Ishii, Mikey Nichols, losses to Evil, Aaron Hanare, and Eddie Kingston, and had the 1 draw with Tama Tonga. But like I said, I was kind of surprised that he only finished with 7 points. I expected a little better from Shingo. Okay, we had one competitor that finished with 8 points, which was Eddie Kingston. And oh man, he came so close. Really, really close. But he still had a pretty dang on good tournament. So Eddie Kingston finished with 8 points with a final record of 4-3. He had victories over Tama Tonga, Shingo Takagi, Aaron Hanare, and Mikey Nichols, but 3 losses to Evil, Tomohiro Ishii, and David Finlay. But he still had a really, really good tournament. And, you know, he is the current NJPW Strong Openweight Champion. So, you know, still looking good in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And shout out to Eddie Kingston as he got an opportunity to meet his idol. I was actually really happy for him. And he was just really, really giddy, you know, for that whole entire segment. It was so funny. It was really, really funny. But yeah, he got a chance to meet his idol, Yoshiaki Kawada. So it was funny just seeing the clip when he got to meet Kawada-san. And just, he had a big smile, big ugly smile on his face the entire time. And, you know, it was really cool to see that. And then they shook hands and, you know, just Eddie Kingston just showing loads and loads of respect to him. Because, I mean, you know, Eddie Kingston wears, you know, black and yellow. You know, he wears, you know, Kawada's colors for his ring gear. So, you know, it was just really cool to see Eddie Kingston get an opportunity to meet his hero, his mentor. You know, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that he got a chance to wrestle Jun Akiyama, but man, getting a chance to meet Yoshiaki Kawada that was big. That was really, really big. So I'm really happy that he got a chance to meet his idol. But yeah, excuse me, Toshiaki Kawada. I'm sorry. I always get that mixed up. But it was really, really cool that he got a chance to to meet him. And who knows? I mean, well, then again, he's retired. Yeah, he's retired. So, I mean, part of me, was thinking, oh man, it would have been nice if he got a chance to wrestle Toshiaki Kawada. That would have been really cool. Well, he's about to turn 60 at the end of this year, so But yeah, I just had to throw that in there. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track. Let me get back on track. But yeah, Eddie Kingston, 4-3, 8 points. Still had a solid tournament, but wasn't able to qualify to the winner's block. Okay, we had one competitor that had 9 points. This was Tamatanga. He came really, really close as well, but no cigar. He finished with a record of 4-2-1. He had victories over David Finlay, Tomohiro Ishii, Aaron Hanare, and Mikey Nichols, with the 2 losses to Evil and Eddie Kingston, and had the 1 draw with Shingo Takagi. So, really, really close. Really close. Okay, and then our top 2, who both finished tied with 10 points apiece, are David Finlay and Evil, who both advance to the winner's block. Dang, so you got Bullet Club and House of Torture advancing out of the C block. Oh, man. I think all hell is broken loose. Anyway, Evil, 10 points, 5-2 record. Victories over Tomohiro Ishii, Tamatanga, Shingo Takagi, Aaron Hanare, Eddie Kingston. Losses to David Finlay and Mikey Nichols. And then David Finlay also finished 5-2. Victories over Tomohiro Ishii, Evil, Aaron Hanare, Eddie Kingston, and Mikey Nichols. Losses to Tamatanga and Shingo Takagi. So, my guess is due to both of them having 10 points in the same record, I think technically David Finlay is the top guy, being that he has the tiebreaker due to his victory over Evil. So I believe that makes Evil the runner-up. So, Evil runner-up, David Finlay, the top guy out of the C block. But both advance to the winner's block. So, no, I'm not going to say congratulations to them, because, I mean, I'm not really a big fan of David Finlay as leader of Bullet Club, nor do I like House of Torture, so not even going to acknowledge that in a positive way. So, let's continue. Final block, the D block. Okay, so for the D block, so the competitor that finished at the bottom with 4 points, Toru Yano, finished with a final record of 2-5. Victories over Jeff Cobb and Shane Haste, but losses to Alex Coughlin, Zack Sabre Jr., Hiroki Goto, Tetsuya Naito, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Not surprised, it's Yano, so I'm not really surprised. Okay, we had Shane Haste, finished with 5 points. He had a record of 2-4-1. Had victories over Alex Coughlin and a big one over Tetsuya Naito, but 4 losses to Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Zack Sabre Jr., and Toru Yano, and he had the 1 draw with Jeff Cobb. But hey, gotta give him credit. He beat Naito, so hey, that's big. Alright, we have 3 competitors that finished with 6 points apiece. which are Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, and Alex Coughlin. So let's look at the android. He finishes with a record of 3-4. Victories over Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Toru Yano. Losses to Tetsuya Naito, Zack Sabre Jr., Jeff Cobb, Shane Haste. Not bad for the android. Not bad. Hiroki Goto. Once again. Once a freaking again. Hiroki Goto, 6 points. Final record of 3-4. With victories over Toru Yano, Jeff Cobb, Shane Haste. But losses to Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tetsuya Naito, Zack Sabre Jr., and Alex Coughlin. I am never going to get that IWGP World Heavyweight Championship run for Hiroki Goto. It's just never going to happen. I might as well give up hope, because it's never going to happen. It's ridiculous. So freaking ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. Hiroshi Tanahashi also finished with 6 points. Record of 3-4. The Ace was able to get victories over Hiroki Goto, Toru Yano, and Shane Haste, but losses to Tetsuya Naito, Zack Sabre Jr., Jeff Cobb, and Alex Coughlin. Yeah. We had one competitor came very, very close, and honestly, I really felt like he should have qualified, but with 9 points, Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb finishes with a final record of 4-2-1. He had victories over Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tetsuya Naito, Zack Sabre Jr., and Alex Coughlin. Had losses to Hiroki Goto and Toru Yano, and had the one draw at Shane Haste. You know, I find that funny because he ended up defeating both of the competitors that ended up qualifying for the winner's block. That's sad. That is so sad. I really felt like Jeff Cobb deserved to advance to the winner's block. I mean, the dude, look at who he beat. He beat Zack Sabre Jr., Tetsuya Naito, and Tanahashi. He beat two of the folks that ended up qualifying. Like, what? Ugh. Whatever. But your final two who qualified for the winner's block, finishing at the top both with 10 points apiece, Zack Sabre Jr. and Tetsuya Naito. So let's look at Zack Sabre Jr. 10 points, finishes with a final record of 5-2, with victories over Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Toru Yano, Shane Haste, and Alex Coughlin, but losses to Naito and Jeff Cobb. Which, you know, I don't mind Zack Sabre Jr. advancing. You know, he's another one that's long overdue for New Japan IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. He's been way, way long overdue. And then Tetsuya Naito, same record, 5-2. Victories over Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Zack Sabre Jr., Toru Yano, and Alex Coughlin, with losses to Shane Haste and Jeff Cobb. So, it looks like because Naito owns the tiebreaker over Zack Sabre Jr. because he beat him, looks like Zack Sabre Jr. will be the runner-up of the D block, and Naito will be the top guy of the D block. But yeah, Naito and Zack Sabre Jr. advance to the winner's block. So, congratulations to them. But yeah, so all the block matches, all the preliminary block matches are done and in the books. But I would have to say the MVP definitely has to go to Sonata. I mean, finished undefeated. So, yeah. Now, let's look at the actual bracket. But this is the winner's block bracket. So they now have switched gears to a single elimination tournament. So here are the brackets. Or here's the bracket. Okay. So, right here, the quarterfinals will happen actually tomorrow, August 10th. You got 4 matches. So we're going to get Sonata versus Evil. So you have the top guy of the A block versus the runner-up of the C block. So Sonata versus Evil. Which I'm hoping to God Sonata wins that. He better win that. We have Kazuchika Okada versus Zack Sabre Jr., top guy of the B block versus the runner-up of the D block. And I hope that some way, somehow, Zack Sabre Jr. wins. I really, really do. I really want him to win. Because I do not want Okada coming anywhere near that trophy. Alright. And then we have David Finlay versus Will Ospreay. So you have the top guy of the C block versus the runner-up of the B block. But I'm definitely picking Will Ospreay to pick up that victory. Yeah, I think it'll definitely be Will Ospreay. And then we got Tetsuya Naito versus Hikuleo. Top guy of the D block versus the runner-up of the A block. Ooh, man. It's going to be pretty tough for Hikuleo, but I do not see him beating Naito. So I'm going to have to go with Tetsuya Naito. But my picks to advance to the semifinals: Sonata, Zack Sabre Jr., Tetsuya Naito, Will Ospreay. And the semis will be held on August 12th. And then the finals the day after, August 13th. So that is the timeline. That's the schedule for the remainder of the G1 Climax 33. So it's coming down to the wire. The winner's block single elimination tournament has begun, or will begin tomorrow. So this is your final 8. This is your elite 8. So should be really, really exciting. Hope everybody finishes this tournament strong. But overall, as long as Okada doesn't win, nor Evil, nor David Finlay, well, I'd be willing to accept David Finlay before I'd accept Evil. But yeah, as long as as long as Evil and Okada don't win this tournament, I'll be happy for the most part. Okay, so part 1 out of the way. Before we start talking about Kairi with her recent press conference and her upcoming decision, here's a quick word on the sponsor of the video, Game Beauty. Check it out. As you continue to watch and enjoy Blitzball Champ gaming content here on the U to the Tube, be sure you take a moment to check out the link to the description for Game Beauty. Game Beauty offers a variety of video game themed makeup and cosmetic products. They offer items such as eyeshadow palettes, elemental pearl highlighters, eyeshadow brushes, and even non-makeup items such as these graphic t-shirts. They also have collaboration items like this Persona 5 Royal Limited Edition makeup collection, as you can see here, which you can get it as a full collection, or you can get different bundles of this collection as well as different pieces separately. Also, Game Beauty offers free domestic and international shipping to most countries for orders over $60. And be sure to use the promo code blitzball_champ, all in caps, and you can get 10% off of your order. So be sure to take advantage of that nice little discount. And now, back to our regularly scheduled video. Enjoy. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Kairi. Kairi recently had a press conference to talk about her future activities, whatnot, which I'll put a link in the description that folks can access. Shout out to the HD Subs YouTube for providing English subtitles for Kairi's press conference. It took place August 7th, so just a couple of days ago. But shout out to HD Subs and the folks behind them for helping with the translation and subtitles for Kairi's press conference. So she had mentioned, just a couple of things on her mind. Mentioned about how her journey has been since leaving the WWE, returning to Japan, returning to Stardom, being a part of, New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. And really just kind of what she's been going through and, about what her future is. So, 3 things that it made me think about. Number one, she said that at the end of September, she is going to take an indefinite hiatus to kind of, I guess, prepare for her next voyage. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised at the decision. I really felt like she was happy where she was, ever since returning to Japan, because I felt like, a lot of things were going to really fall into place for her, especially with her having her own gym, her being able to reunite with her husband, and being able to have, that big run back in Stardom, which didn't really go as I hoped that it would go. I mean, don't get me wrong, she did make history. She was crowned the first IWGP Women's Champion. And as she said, she did get a chance to wrestle, some of the matches that she was, hoping to be able to have. She probably didn't get through her whole list, but sure she knocked off some. The scary thing with that was she even mentioned that after she lost the IWGP Women's Championship to Mercedes Moné at Battle in the Valley, she apparently contemplated retiring. Which, I mean, if it came down to that, would be a bummer. But I would have understood. Because, I mean, Kairi's 34 years old. She turns 35 next month. You know? I honestly was under the impression with her going back to Japan, you know, her having one big final run with Stardom, and then who knows, maybe she wanted to start a family. I mean, I'm not saying that that's, you know, impossible still, but I figured maybe she wanted to start a family. But, you know, I don't know her personally. I've met her in person, but I don't know her personally. But I really felt like she was content. But I can understand with how the booking has been. And I know she did get a minor injury or two after her return to Stardom. But I don't think anybody expected for her to lose the title on the second defense. You know what I mean? And she didn't really have that great of a first title defense at Wrestle Kingdom against Tam Nakano because it was barely even a 5-minute match. So, yeah. So, just pretty surprised. Secondly, it kind of made me think about her husband a little bit because word is that she has agreed to terms to return to the WWE. And, you know, the thing with her husband, I mean, they got married back in, February of 2020? And I was just under the assumption, and this is just me. I don't know. This is just, you know, my thoughts. I was under the assumption that, you know, they probably haven't really had a lot of time to spend with each other. I mean, especially as a married couple, because, I mean, she was in the States for I would assume, a big portion of their marriage, you know, because she was still a part of WWE when they got married. So, I don't know, it's just kind of surprising then. But it kind of leads me over to my third point about the decision of return to WWE, which I understand she did not mention in her press conference as far as future moves. But I will say this. Now, I'm a Kairi fan. You know, I've met her. She's a sweetheart. You know, one of the sweetest people I've met, especially in the business. And, you know, I've heard many other wrestlers say just how much of an angel Kairi is. Just attitude, personality. And she has pretty much one of the best elbow drops in the business. But anyway, I will say this about her return to WWE, which I assume, with how she was talking about the indefinite hiatus at the end of September, my guess is she's either going to join back with the WWE at like the dead end of this year, or probably to start off 2024. That's just my prediction. That's my prediction. Here's my thing. Two things as far as her coming back to the WWE. Number one, y'all better keep her away from those freaking WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. I don't care if her and Asuka were the longest reigning tag champs. I don't care. Those belts are cursed. Look at the last couple of teams. At least a good chunk of them injuries and have had to vacate. I'm sorry, but those belts right now are cursed. So WWE, y'all better keep her away from those tag titles. I don't care if it's her and Asuka. I don't care if they want to reunite the Sky Pirates. I don't care. Keep those titles off of Kairi. She deserves to have a legit singles run on the main roster in WWE. None of this tag team bullcrap. So that's number one thing. I mean, her and Asuka, can reunite and whatnot, but keep them away from those tag titles. Those tag titles are cursed. And secondly, if at some point we don't get Asuka versus Kairi, her return to the WWE will have been a bust. Yeah, I said it. You had the opportunity before. And now with her coming back to the WWE, you now have the opening to book Asuka versus Kairi, a match that has never happened before, not even in Japan. And if that doesn't happen, her return will be a bust. Will have been a bust. When you have another opportunity to make that happen, you don't drop the ball with that. I don't care who you are. You don't drop the ball with that. So that better happen. That better happen. Because honestly, I find that more important than Kairi and Io squaring off with each other. They've done that plenty of times in Japan. That ain't nothing new. But Asuka versus Kairi has never happened. At all. So those are my two big things for Kairi with her returning to WWE. And I also heard word that perhaps, potentially, Nia Jax might be returning. And if that happens, I better not see both of these two in the same match against each other. If you want to really piss off some fans, let that happen. But going back to Kairi, like I said, I'm happy for her. Like I said, she's a sweetheart. I wish her the best. I am bummed that her return to Stardom didn't really go how I thought it would. Like, for example, I really wanted to see her win the Cinderella tournament. I wanted to see her in the Cinderella tournament. A tournament she's never won before. She's won a G1, she's won a 5-star Grand Prix, but she's never won a Cinderella tournament. So I would have loved for her to win the one tournament she had never won before, Cinderella tournament. But obviously that's not going to happen. But I mean, it is what it is. She's still 1/3 of one of the best trios in Stardom, Threedom. With her, Mayu Iwatani, and Io Shirai. But I just would have really, really loved for her to have won a Cinderella tournament. I mean, she's won a 5-star Grand Prix. She's won a Goddess of Stardom Tag League. Of course, she won that with Yoko Bito. So it's kind of a bummer. But she did make history in becoming IWGP Women's Champion, which I hope that belt gets showcased more. I really, really do. But we'll see. But, it was good to see Kairi go up against some of the more current stars in Stardom. I thought that was really, really cool to see. So at least that ended up happening. So that's a good thing. That's a positive. And she's got some upcoming dates to fulfill. She's got some upcoming bookings. Of course, she just recently teamed up with Sari in Seriism Chapter 2. You know, she was in the main event. They went up against Takumi Iroha and Arisa Nakajima, which was an awesome match. Great main event. Definitely check it out if you haven't, while there's still time. Let's see. She also is booked to... Oh, yeah, she's booked for an All Japan Pro Wrestling show. Looks like September 8th. She's going to team up with Saori Ano. So, Kairi and Saori Ano versus Unagi Sayaka and a partner of her choosing. So, that's cool. So, she's got booked for All Japan Pro Wrestling show. So, that's really cool. And if I remember correctly, I believe she has a Sendai Girls booking. Let me check right quick. Actually, yeah. So she is booked for the September 2nd. So Sendai Girls Big Show. Yeah, September 2nd. So she's booked for that show. So, not sure who she's going to face. They don't have an opponent for her yet. But she's got that. Let's see. She's got The Last Voyage. So, The Last Voyage shows. So, one for The Last Voyage in Osaka. That will be... September 16th. And then you have The Last Voyage in Tokyo, September 23rd. Which I believe that will be her last show before going on the indefinite hiatus at the end of September. I'm kind of curious. So I guess she doesn't have any. I guess she doesn't have any Stardom dates anymore. As a matter of fact, I think pretty much her last Stardom match, I believe, was when she lost the Artists of Stardom Trios titles, if I remember correctly. Oh, no, that's right. It was Stardom's and Sunshine. That was her last match. And then the Stardom show before that, which was Flashing Champions, was when she lost the Artists of Stardom Trios titles. So yeah, her last match in Stardom was Stardom Sunshine back in June, near the end of June. So, which was a victory. But yeah, I guess she's not gonna have another Stardom show or have another match in Stardom. She's not even booked for the upcoming shows, like, you know, the Midsummer Festival, Stardom, X-Stardom. So it's kind of a bummer because I really wanted to see her get another match with Utami Hayashishita, because remember, the last time they faced each other, it ended in a time limit draw. And that was back at Stardom Dream Queendom of last year. So I really would have loved to have seen those two duke it out again and, you know, come up with a legit winner. But yeah. But something tells me upon her return to WWE, she's probably going to put in an angle with either Io Sky and Damage Control, or come to support Asuka. my whole thing is just keep those tag titles off of her, because those belts are cursed. But yeah. But like I said, I wish the best for her. And, you know, even though she turns 35 in September, which I believe the last voyage in Tokyo, yeah, September 23rd. So that's actually on her birthday. So there we go there. But, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, I just hope that Kairi finishes strong with her remaining bookings up to, you know, end of September in Japan. But, you know, definitely happy for her. Looking forward to the next voyage for her. But overall, her return to Japan, I felt was kind of mid. But at least she was able to make history. She was able to make history. So I'm happy with that. Was able to have some great matches and compete with some of the current Stardom rosters. So that was really cool. But we'll see what happens next for Kairi. But anyway, that's pretty much all that I have. Don't forget to check out the link to Game Beauty. And also, like I said, if you want to check out Kairi's press conference, I'll put that link in the description with subtitles. So shout out once again to HD Subs. And that way you can hear and see what she had to say. And let me know what y'all's thoughts are. What did y'all think about the final standings of the G1 Climax 33 preliminary block matches? How do you feel about the competitors that advanced to the winner's block single elimination tournament? And ultimately, who do you think is going to win the G1 Climax 33? Also, what are your thoughts on Kairi taking an indefinite hiatus at the end of September? How did you feel her run in Japan has been since she returned after leaving the WWE? And word is she will be returning to the WWE for another stint. What do you think about that decision? Do you think her second run in WWE will be better? Do you think it'll be the same? Do you think it'll be worse? What would you like to see happen with Kairi and her return to WWE? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. For another Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. My name is Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed evening, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take care. Laters. Just look at me.